Welcome back to the Crypto Channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while Ethereum is still playing out this bearish divergence on the daily time frame, the price of Chainlink is starting to possibly form a new higher low in the short term, while XRP is still playing out this descending parallel channel, while the price of Solana is now bouncing from this critical line of support. And on top of all of that, are we talking about a potential altcoin season if we confirm a signal here in the Bitcoin dominance? And I'll be sharing a secret altcoin that I'm currently accumulating that is right now pumping during the larger pullback that we're seeing in the crypto market. So if this is happening during a pullback in the crypto market, imagine what could happen during an altcoin season. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Ethereum chart, and right now the price of ETH is obviously still playing out that correction during this larger bull market. So technically speaking, we still have strong resistance at around 4.1k. Obviously, as I've been saying over and over again here on the channel, with mainly an area of resistance on the daily time frame sitting in between around 3.9k to 4.1k. So that is still the resistance to watch out for on the daily time frame, and also on these larger time frames at around 4.1k. But before that area of resistance, we also now have a bit of resistance right here based on previous resistance and some support right here, once again acting as new resistance now that the price is broken below that area, and that's sitting in between around 34.30 to 35.60. So expect resistance around there on the price chart, which over the last 1 to 2 days or so has already been acting as resistance. And as for support on the daily time frame, we do have this area of support right here sitting in between around $3,000 to 3.1k, and so far we've bounced from pretty much exactly 3.1k. We also have a bit of short-term support right here at around 32.50 to 3.3k. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum chart, technically speaking, the price of ETH is still playing out this bearish divergence, which I've been talking about here on the channel since all the way back up here, saying we're likely going to see either a pullback in the price of ETH or at the very least just some choppy sideways price action. So basically a cool off or a setback in the short term from the larger bull market, but not necessarily the end of the bull market, just a bit of a break in the short term during the bull market. And then in order to expect the continuation of the bull market up towards the all-time high for Ethereum, I would obviously like to see a breakout above around 4.1k before expecting move up towards the all-time high. In fact, we'll likely move up towards that all-time high at around 4.8 to 4.9k if we can actually break out above 4.1k. But for now, we're still waiting for that breakout. So once again, right now, we're simply playing out the bearish divergence in the somewhat shorter term, rejecting from short-term resistance. So that is the situation in the short term, but the longer term, at least as of right now, while we're still holding above this massive line of support at around 2.6k, is technically still looking bullish here in the longer term. And something to point out is a possible inverse head and shoulders pattern forming on the weekly time frame, with obviously a left shoulder and a possible head already formed. And right now we're possibly forming a right shoulder. So all we need to see to actually confirm this pattern right here is for this right shoulder to complete its formation by seeing a bounce in the coming weeks back up towards this neckline at around 4.1k. And then we need to break out above 4.1k in order to actually confirm and activate this inverse head and shoulders pattern, which would be a massive bullish pattern. But I want to make it clear that right now, that possible inverse head and shoulders pattern is in no way confirmed right now. And so over the last 1 day, not a lot has changed for Ethereum. I'm still expecting bearish to neutral price action, potentially for the next 1 or 2 weeks. Once again, just talking about the somewhat shorter term before we gear up potentially for that next leg to the upside in that larger bull market. And if we're taking a look at Chainlink on the weekly time frame, right now the price of Chainlink is still retesting this previous golden pocket area of resistance, sitting in between around $21 to $23. And as of right now, at the time of recording this video, this is currently acting as a bit of short-term support in that region, which is good news to see, at least in the short term. But of course, we still have strong resistance at this next Fibonacci level of resistance, the 78.6% Fibonacci level of resistance, and that's sitting at close to $31. And obviously, the price of Chainlink rejected from pretty much exactly $31. And so the situation for Chainlink right now is actually very similar to Ethereum. We're currently rejecting from a major point of resistance in the somewhat shorter term here, playing out a short-term pullback or a short-term correction in the price during potentially a larger bull market, as we can see, because technically speaking, we're still forming higher lows and higher highs on the larger timeframes, which by definition is a larger bullish trend, also known as a bull market. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Chainlink chart, as of recording this video, the price of Chainlink is trading slightly below the neckline for this cup and handle pattern, which is sitting at approximately $23. And in case you're wondering, the next weekly candle close confirms in roughly around half a day from now. And in case you're wondering, it confirms at exactly midnight UTC. And so with this next weekly candle close, if that confirms well below $23, and especially if it confirms below $21, obviously in the short to midterm, talking about the coming weeks or possibly months, that would be bad news for the price of Chainlink if we confirm a break back below at least 23. But ideally, if we break below 21, that would be bad news. But if we do not break below $21 and instead we see the weekly candle close still holding above $21 to $22, then in that case, this is still acting as support in the short term, which means the price can still bounce from that area. But if we confirm back below around $23, technically speaking, that could be an invalidation signal to invalidate this pattern right here, this cup and handle pattern. And so that's the situation right now on the larger timeframes. We're still waiting for that confirmation, but overall, we're finding a bit of short-term support around this golden pocket, which is some good news just in the short term. And another piece of good news in the short term is the possibility of a higher low forming in the price of Chainlink here on the 4-hour timeframe. And so obviously over the last 1 week, give or take, we've been seeing this bearish divergence playing out here in the short term, forming lower highs and lower lows following the bearish divergence. So essentially a short-term bearish trend, or basically a pullback on the larger timeframes here, which if we're zooming into the short term is a short-term bearish trend once again. But if we can start confirming higher lows and also higher highs in the price in the short term, that would be a change in price structure, pointing towards potentially a new short-term bullish trend after this previous short-term bearish trend. But I want to make it clear that as of recording this video, we've not fully confirmed that higher low in place. So of course, it's still possible we could just dump below this previous low and form another lower low. So keep that in mind. Ideally, we need to see at least a couple of green candle closes actually confirm in order to confirm some sort of higher low in place here in the price action on the 4-hour time frame. And if we end up doing that, if we confirm that higher low in place by seeing a bit more of a bounce here in the price of Chainlink, then in that case, that would be one signal pointing towards a change in price structure or change in the short-term trend here. And another signal to watch out for would be a breakout above this previous high right here, sitting at around $24.80 approximately. So if we form this higher low and then break out above this previous high, forming a higher high, then of course, that would be a change in price structure, potentially forming a new bullish trend, reversing from a short-term bearish trend into a new short-term bullish trend. And if that confirms, if we see that high low confirm, and especially if we see a breakout above this previous high right here, then in that case, that would be an invalidation signal to invalidate this previous bearish divergence right here. Because of course, if we're starting to form higher lows and higher highs in the price, then we're no longer exactly playing out a bearish divergence. And so that's just something to pay attention to in the coming hours or days here in the short term, if it actually confirms. Once again, as of right now, it's not confirmed. So it's just something to pay attention to. But overall, Chainlink will likely follow similar price action to what Ethereum is doing. So if Ethereum is still in a bit of a short-term correction, Chainlink will likely play out something similar in the short term. Obviously not exactly, but something similar. Or if Ethereum continues the larger bull market here, Chainlink will likely play out something similar as well. And if you want to get set up ready to go to take these trading opportunities in the price of any crypto, personally, I take a lot of my trades right now over on B2Next. So make sure to leave a link to B2Next below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is an exclusive deposit bonus that you can only claim using that link. So once again, if you simply just click that link and make your account using that link and deposit $100 worth of crypto and start trading, you get a $20 bonus. Or if you deposit 500 USDT, you get a $100 bonus. Or if you deposit just 1,000 USDT and start trading, you get a $200 bonus into your account. But once again, that is only available if you use the link below this video to make your B2Next account and start trading on your account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And also, in case you're wondering, B2Next is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But for whatever reason, if you don't want Bitnex, there is also Bybit as another option out there, another exchange I also trade on. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit as well down below this video. And if you use that link to Bybit, you can claim a 500 USDT position airdrop, but that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account. But with that being said, taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, and right now XRP is still trading in between $2 to $3. So I'll keep this quick on the weekly time frame. In case you're new to this channel, we have major resistance at close to $3, which is really sitting in between around $2.90 to $3, acting as major resistance. And as for support, we have this previous high right here, previous resistance, now acting as new support at close to $2. So expect a lot of support at $2 and a lot of resistance at close to $3. And of course, right now the price of XRP can remain within a larger bull market because we can see these slight little pullbacks along the way during a larger bull run, just like what we saw in the 2021 bull run. Obviously, back then we did see a pullback, a bit of a dump in the short term during that bull market, as we could see. So this is still normal price action even during a larger bull market. But of course, we cannot ignore resistance. If we see a further bounce here in the short term, continue to expect a lot of resistance at close to $3. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour time frame, right now XRP is still playing out this descending parallel channel, which is essentially a short-term bearish trend on the smaller time frames, forming lower highs and lower lows. So technically speaking, in the short term, we're looking neutral to bearish, not massively bearish here. As we could see, it's not a huge bearish trend like this. It's relatively flat. But with that being said, this line of support for this descending parallel channel is currently sitting at around $1.93 to $1.94. And this line of resistance for this parallel channel is sitting at around $2.64 approximately. And this center line is sitting at approximately $2.26. And as I talked about in my last altcoin video just yesterday, usually the price of XRP and a lot of cryptos out there, when they're playing out these parallel channels, tend to gravitate towards this center line. As we could see, we don't really spend a lot of time towards these lines of support or resistance. Oftentimes we spend a lot of time around this center line. And so we can use that simple information to our advantage as a potential trading strategy here in the short term. Of course, if the price of XRP approaches this line of resistance, that could be a possible signal to enter a short position or to sell some XRP, or vice versa. If we run into this line of support, that could be a signal to potentially long XRP or buy some XRP. As always, not financial advice. That's just sharing a possible trading strategy based on this chart right here. And if we're looking at the 4-hour XRP RSI, as of right now, we have been bouncing from oversold territories. And similar to this parallel channel, the RSI tends to stick around the center line, stick around 50, and not really spend a lot of the time, at least most times, not really spend a lot of the time around oversold or overbought. So that's also potentially feeding into this trading strategy right here, where if the RSI approaches overbought, that could be a signal once again to potentially short or sell. And if the RSI approaches oversold, that could be a possible signal to long or buy. As always, not financial advice. I'm just sharing a potential trading strategy that could have worked out so far over the last couple of weeks and will likely continue to work out at least for the next few days, maybe longer. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 3-day time frame, right now Solana is continuing the correction on this 3-day chart because obviously we broke below $210, which on this chart right here was a major level to pay attention to, which was acting as support. But the moment we started to break below around 200 to 210, we were due to see a quick drop down towards around 180, and that's exactly what we saw as expected. And so now that the price of Solana is trading back inside this previous sideways price range, as we could see that we're sitting in between around March this year all the way up until around October to November this year. Obviously, now that we're breaking back into that previous sideways price range, this is technically bearish price structure because we're going backwards. We did break out of that sideways price range, but now we're breaking back into that previous sideways price range. And considering this is on the 3-day time frame, it is quite likely the price of Solana will stay now within this sideways price range for at least a number of weeks, possibly longer, possibly a number of months, but at least a number of weeks. I do expect the price of Solana to hang in this sideways price range right here, really in between around $120 to $190, basically $200 will likely stay around that area on the price chart for the coming weeks. And as for short-term support and resistance to watch out for, as of recording this video, we're bouncing from pretty much exactly this level of support that I've been talking about, which is sitting at around $180 to $181. So right there at around 180, once again, expect a lot of support. And so far we're bouncing, as of recording this video, exactly from that area based on these 8-hour candle closes. But as for resistance, of course, if we continue this bounce to the upside, we still have a lot of resistance to pay attention to. So first of all, we have a lot of resistance in between $200 to $210 based on previous support, now becoming new resistance right around that $200 level. And then above that, we also have more resistance at around $222 to $223. And then above that, more resistance at $232 and significant resistance at around $246 and $260. And so obviously Solana still has a long way to go before we can start flipping much more bullish again. First of all, I'd at least like to see a breakout back above $210 before even starting to think about flipping bullish again, at least in the short term, because of course the short-term situation for Solana has already been bearish for some time. We're clearly in a short-term bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows and breaking below support and obviously rejecting from resistance. And so in order to start confirming a bullish reversal in the short term, once again, we need to at least see some breakouts above some key levels of resistance like $210 and ideally breaking out above around $223 and ideally above around $232. And now, if this bounce actually fails in the coming days, and instead, if we actually break back below $180, then in that case, the next major area of support to the downside is this area sitting in between around $156 to $161, acting as major support based on previous price action if we were to break back below 180, which for now, 180 is acting as short-term support. And of course, one of the reasons as to why a lot of major altcoins out there in the market right now are experiencing a lot of bearish price action in the short term is due to the fact that the Bitcoin dominance is currently bouncing. We're seeing a major bounce in the Bitcoin dominance here on the weekly time frame for the Bitcoin dominance chart. And so in case you're new to all of this, this basically means that Bitcoin is gaining market share in the total crypto market, which essentially means Bitcoin is taking market share away from the altcoins. So essentially Bitcoin is outperforming most altcoins out there. Of course, there can be outliers, but most altcoins right now are underperforming Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin has a pullback, altcoins are doing even worse on average. But as I talked about in my last Bitcoin video just yesterday, of course, if this Bitcoin dominance forms a lower high and actually rejects from this previous high right here, that would be very good news for the altcoin market, pointing towards potentially an altcoin season. If we start to really roll over in the Bitcoin dominance and see more bearish price action in the Bitcoin dominance, that would be good news for the altcoin market. And so to prepare for a possible altcoin season, of course, I have been looking at some other altcoins here in the market that are holding up relatively well, even while a lot of altcoins right now are clearly not holding up quite well. And so due to the fact that I've been getting a lot of comments in the comment section down below these videos asking me to share some of my altcoins that I'm currently buying, of course, right now I'm looking for altcoins that are holding up well during this bounce in the Bitcoin dominance, because if they're holding up well while this is happening, imagine what could happen in an altcoin season. They'll likely explode. And so one altcoin that I'm currently accumulating right now that I have already started to buy is, of course, Wealth, which I have talked about a little bit over on my Twitter. I've shared some of their tweets over on my Twitter. As you can see right here, I replied to one of their tweets over on my Twitter account. So if you've been following on my Twitter with notifications turned on, you could have gotten into this coin even earlier. And as you can see right here, I replied to their tweet saying this could be the next hidden gem. And since that reply, the price is basically 10x'd already. That is right, at 10x, because I posted this reply before they actually launched, and they launched at around 36 cents. And right now the price is sitting at close to $4 already. And so this is the Wealth to US dollar chart on the 1 hour time frame, because they have only just launched. Literally just a couple of days ago, they only just launched. So it's a relatively new project. And usually in this crypto cycle, a lot of the newer coins have been performing quite well. And so from this low right here to where we are right now, in less than 2 days, the price of this coin has pumped over 60% to the upside in less than 2 days. And just in the last 24 hours, this coin right here has pumped over 30% to the upside in the last 1 day, while the total crypto market has been experiencing a major pullback. As we could see, Solana, for example, dumping over the last few days, over the last week, give or take, while this coin is currently massively pumping. So if this coin is holding up this well while the total crypto market is more bearish on average, then imagine what it could do during an altcoin season. And full disclaimer, to be completely transparent, of course, I am not paid anything to say anything about this coin right here, but I am buying this coin. So obviously, if the price of this coin goes to the upside, of course, I will benefit because I have been buying this coin right here. And as always, do your own research. Never trust just anyone on the internet, not even me. Do your own research when it comes to making financial decisions. As always, not financial advice. I'm just simply being transparent with what I'm doing with my money and sharing one altcoin that I am actually accumulating right now, which is wealth. And of course, because this is a newer altcoin that only just launched a few days ago, it is not available on every exchange out there. In fact, right now it's only available on MEXC. That's the only centralized exchange it's on right now. And it is available on Uniswap as well, which is a decentralized exchange. But I'm sure that as this project continues to move and evolve, of course, it is likely that it'll continue to list on more and more exchanges. But right now, because it's a relatively new coin, those are the only options really to buy this coin right now. So once again, I am accumulating this coin for the next altcoin season potentially, especially if the Bitcoin dominance starts rolling over. This thing could potentially explode even more than what it's doing right now. And another thing to note when it comes to altcoins like this, of course, I'll be paying attention to the volume of these altcoins right here. So for example, if you see one of these altcoins with a liquid market cap of, let's just say 13 million, which is what wealth is sitting at right now, while let's just say if the volume was sitting at $5,000 or $10,000, that would be a big red flag for other altcoins with very low volume. But for example, with this coin right here, the volume is close to half of the liquid market cap right now, which is a good sign to see. So once again, you want to see a lot of volume when it comes to altcoins like this, especially smaller altcoins. You want good volume. If you see very, very low volume, especially in the thousands or even like $100,000 in volume, that is a bit of a red flag if you're searching for other altcoins as well. Just another note to pay attention to. But with that being said, I better end this video right now to get it out as soon as possible, because even during recording this video, the price of this coin has already pumped like 10% to the upside in just the last hour or so. And once again, if you want to trade a lot of these crypto coins like this, check out those links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.